everyone. Hey everyone, it's Gina K from Gina K Designs, and welcome to Stampin' Chat. I saw it pop on, it popped off, and then it popped back on again. So I don't know what that beginning looked like, but I guess we'll see it on the replay. Welcome everyone from all over the United States and all over the world. I see people from everywhere tonight, and I am so excited to have you all with me. Now tonight, I don't really have a specific topic. I thought I'd keep it kind of light tonight, but you know, I always have to have something to focus on, right? So tonight I'm going to focus on keep going. You know, we're all making it. We're all getting through each day, and I just want us to all keep going. I'm going to start. Let me get the comments back here so I can see. Oh, look at where all of you guys are just saying hello from everywhere. It's so exciting to see you. So one of the things that I wanted to say, I was reading a little bit about, you know, quotes on keeping going and keeping strong. And my real topic tonight, I just wanted to keep it light and easy. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the different jobs and careers that I've had in my life. People often ask me, did you always know you wanted to be a creative, or did you always know you wanted to own a stamp company? And absolutely not. I didn't, when I was younger, I didn't even know that stamping existed. So I wanted to share with you some of the crazy jobs that I've had in my life. And of course, in the comments, I like to go back and look through the comments, and I would love to hear some of the crazy things that you've done as well. But I want to remind you to never forget how far you've come in life. Everything that you've gotten through, all of the times you pushed on, even when you felt like you couldn't, all the mornings that you got out of bed, no matter how hard it was, every single time you thought about giving up, but you didn't. Never forget how much you've learned about being strong and how you've developed along the way. So I have this little quote that I want to read, and I love this quote because this is really true. And we all do this. A lot of times, you know, people, our friends, our children, come to us, our spouses or our, you know, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. They'll come to us and they'll say, oh, I feel like giving up, or I feel like doing it. And we give this great advice to other people, but we rarely take the advice for ourselves. So the quote that I found said, keep going for all the same reasons that you tell other people to keep going. So that's my opening quote. I do have a little thing to say a little bit later at the end, and I will also post that on my Facebook page. But I think it's time to make a card. So tonight I was going to do something fun with ink and with colored pencils. So I picked a few of my favorite Prismacolor pencil colors. And I think I'm gonna, ooh, I just banged my overhead camera. I think I'm going to use purples tonight for my card. And if I have time, I'll do a second card. But what I wanna try is a technique that I've done before. So I know the technique works, but I don't know if it's gonna work well with the stamps that I decided to try it with. So let me bring my overhead camera in. So this is the stamp set that I'm going to use tonight, and this is from our stamp kit called A Big Hello. And I know so many of you have this because we have sold so many of these over the months, and we haven't had a new kit for a couple of months, and we're due, but this kit is still available. So I'm going to use this jumbo image here, and you can see how stained it is because I did a lot of other videos using this. And I am actually going to use some white pigment ink. Now this technique I've done before, and it's called Black Magic. But I think I'm going to jazz it up a little bit more than I've done in the past and see how it looks. So I'm going to start with just a piece of plain black cardstock. And I'm going to take this large image. And of course, you can do this with any solid image. So you don't need this stamp set. I know a lot of you recently picked up the Wild Blossom stamp set that I've been using a lot. You have other solid stamps in your collection. Any stamp will work as long as it's a solid stamp. And when I say a solid stamp, for those of you that might be a little bit to stamping, these are solid stamps because they're silhouette style images. Let me find one that isn't. Hold on. Okay, so like this stamp here, this is an open image, a line art image. So this one needs to be colored in, and you're more likely to stamp this on white cardstock. Well, these kinds of stamps, you tend to stamp in color, but we're going to actually stamp this one in white on black cardstock. So I'm going to pick that up with the Door of the Misty, and then I'm going to stamp this with this Gina K Designs white pigment ink. Now, pigment ink dries a little bit more slowly, so I'm going to ink this up and I'll show you. Let me get this over here. So I might have to stamp it more than once, but maybe not. So I'm just tapping that ink on there, but pigment ink is messy ink. I absolutely admit that. It is kind of a pain in the butt because it takes forever to dry, and I don't know, it's just thick and it's kind of gooey. So I like to heat set it a little bit. Once you heat set our white ink, it will stay heat set. Okay, so you can see what that looks like. That looks nice and bright. I just need it bright enough so that I can see the image. And I wanted to create a white base layer so that when I color on top of this, the color is going to show. It's not going to do me any good to have a dark purple pencil and try to color that onto black cardstock. You're not going to be able to see it. But if I color it onto white pigment ink, you're going to be able to see it really well. Now, the other reason why pigment ink is not my favorite ink is because it is messy to clean. So I actually am going to show you how I'm going to clean this. Now, you know I have a couple of tidy towels. So I'm going to clean this with the tidy towel, and then you can wash your tidy towel in the sink with a little bit of water. But you can see it gets stuck in all the cracks. So I'm going to take this stamp off. And it also gets kind of all over your Misty too. So I always use a little stamp cleaner to get that off. But let me move this out of the way. And I have a bowl of water here. And I'm going to stamp in the bowl of water. And then I have some dish soap. This is just the Meyer's Clean Day dish soap and a toothbrush. And I just wet the toothbrush. This is not my toothbrush. Tom's probably wondering if it's his toothbrush. It's not, Tom, if you're watching. And then I just get in there and I scrub the stamp with a toothbrush. And that just gets all the ink out of there. And then I just rinse it in the water, and you can see all of that pigment ink is out of the cracks. So I do that almost right after I get done stamping, just so I don't have to struggle with it. And if I want to stamp it again, that actually helps my image the second time be a little bit better because it's not all in the cracks. Gooey, thick inks really make it hard to get good fine detail. So there, it's all clean other than my pink that I did a thumping technique with a marker that stained it. But I don't care about that. I just want it to stamp well. Okay, so back to the image. And let me just take a brief moment here to welcome anybody new that is joining us. I see so many of you coming in, and it is exciting to see you all here. Oh, I see an angry face. I hope you're angry with me. I posted on Facebook yesterday that I wonder when I make a post if the people who put the angry face are angry with me or they're angry at me. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So I hope that whoever posted an angry face is angry with me about the ink being gooey. All right, so I'm going to start this with a purple pencil, and this one is called Parma Violet. Now, these are regular Prismacolor pencils, the same pencils that we used for the Gamsol technique that I did a couple of weeks ago. And as you guys know, that I always like to sharpen my pencil, and this is the Westcott Eye Point Orbit. I like this pencil sharpener. It has a battery, so I can take it with me, but I also have the bigger one that has a plug. But this one is great, and it gives you a nice sharp point. So my friend Kathy Rakusin, who runs the 30-day coloring challenge, she's doing the coloring challenge now, which is really fun because people are home and lots of people can participate. I actually talked to her about this technique, and she gave me a little advice, and I'm going to share that with you tonight. I tried what she said, and I was really thrilled. So I have a nice sharp point here, and I'm going to start on this petal right down here. Actually, what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to heat set it a little bit just to make sure it's really dry. It does dry pretty quickly, this ink, but you know, you never know, and I really don't want to mess it up. And, ooh, sorry for that overhead. There we go. Sorry if anybody just got nauseous. So I just wanted to get that pigment ink off of my Misty Matte. Okay, so I'm going to start down here with this petal, and I'm just going to color this all in with solid purple. Now, can you see how that just glows? I mean, that really, you can really see that purple. Oh, I love it. That's a really pretty purple, but I'm going to do a darker purple on this as well. So I'm going to just keep coloring this in. And I'm going to color in everywhere, but I'm not going to color over the black. I'm just going to color wherever there's white. And I'm going to color all the flowers this way. And I'm going to do that while I talk to you about some of the jobs that I've had in my life. Kind of crazy. So a lot of times when I tell people some of these things, they don't believe me, but it's really true. My very first job that I had, I was 11 years old, and I know that's really young, and it's too young to have a job, and I wasn't allowed to have a job. So I was in Wildwood, New Jersey. My parents were entertainers. They were in show business, and they were performing in a club down in Wildwood, New Jersey called Cozy Morley's Club Avalon. And I was down there at 11 years old, and I was bored. And I know it's crazy to be 11 years old at the beach and bored, but you know, there's only so much beach you can do. And especially my parents were tired a lot because they were working at night. My first job was around the corner. There was a little variety store. And I went to the variety store, and I so badly wanted to work the cash register. So I asked the lady if I could have a job. And she said, well, I think you would probably be good. She was very sweet. She was an older lady. And she didn't have the heart to tell me that I was only 11 years old and I couldn't have a job. And she said, you know, you have to be 13 to have a job, and you're just too young. She said the only way I could really hire somebody younger than 13 would be if they were like my granddaughter. And I said to her, when can I start, Grandma? Laughed, and she hired me. So that was my very first job, and that was a lot of fun. I loved that job. It was the old plunky kind of cash register, and didn't really remember anything. And, you know, we had to actually make change, which was, which they don't have to do anymore. But yeah, it was really fun. And then my next real big job was pumping gas. I worked in a gas station, and it was like a little Quick Mart kind of thing. And I worked at that gas station right at a time, talking about, like, you know, weird times in our economy and our history. This was a time where there was gas rationing. And people would line up at the gas station, and you were only allowed to get $5 worth of gas. So people would pull in, and I would pump $5 worth of gas for them. And then they would leave, and they would drive around the block, and they would come back and get $5 more. So I just remember I liked that job too. I thought that was fun, but I always went home smelling like a gas station, which for some reason I didn't mind. I liked the smell of gas, so I guess it was good. So you can see how this is coming out. I'm going to take a break here telling my crazy stories. So you can see It's really starting to pop. The color looks really cool up against that black. And I'm going to sharpen the pencil again, though, because I've really been putting a lot of pressure on it, and it was getting a little bit dull. So then my life got interesting, and I started playing in a band. And I was the singer and the keyboard player in a band, and that was my dream. I really wanted to be Madonna. I thought that I should be Madonna. I just loved music, and I grew up in a musical family. My mom was a big band singer. She sang with Tex Beneke's band, which was actually Glenn Miller's band. So Glenn Miller died, and Tex Beneke took it over, and my mom sang with them and toured all over the world with them. So music was kind of in my blood. My dad was a stand-up comedian, and I played in a band, and that is how I met my husband. I met my husband when we were 15 years old, and we played in a band together. And then we got married. Ultimately, we got married, and we became musicians that went on the road, and we played all over the country. We played up in Canada. We played in the Caribbean. We played at the casinos out in Las Vegas and the casinos in Atlantic City. And I really thought that I was going to make it in music. And then we wanted to put a bigger band together. So while we were putting this bigger band together, we had to figure out a way to make money. So Tom and I decided to go to blackjack dealing school. And we lived right outside of Atlantic City, New Jersey, and we went to blackjack dealing school. And we both became blackjack dealers. So by day, we were putting our band together, and then at night, we would go and work in the casinos in Atlantic City dealing blackjack. And that is a crazy thing to do, because we witnessed some really crazy things. There was one night at a craps table where a guy lost a lot of money, and he grabbed the stick from the craps dealer and started beating the dealer with it. It was kind of crazy. But I got very good at adding very quickly. Math became really, really easy all of a sudden. And that was a fun thing to do. But then, okay, so let me just show you this. I'll stop talking about my crazy careers. What year in Atlantic City? That is a really good question. I don't remember. Maybe Tom is watching and he can comment if he can remember. Yes, Desert. Desert just asked me if they made me stand on a box to deal blackjack. You bet I did. I had to stand on a box. I was way too short. I'm only 5 feet tall, so I had to stand on a box. Yes, the pencils that I'm using are regular Prismacolor pencils. They are not watercolor pencils. They're just regular pencils. But I'm coloring on that white ink so you can see that color really popping. Yeah, I've had a kind of a crazy, crazy life. So then long before any of that, while I was working at the gas station, I put myself through beauty school, and I became a cosmetologist. And I worked in that for a while. I actually owned a bunch of salons in the Philadelphia area. So let me stop here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use this leafy, let me see what this is called. Oh, it's called lime peel. Oh, I need stronger glasses. This is lime peel, and I'm going to color all the green parts with the lime peel. Let's sharpen that up just in case Kathy Rakusen's watching. She'll want to know that, oh, Tom just said he thinks we were dealing blackjack in 87 or 88. That is a good possibility, but I don't think so. I think it was, well, maybe. Really? That long ago? Oh my gosh, I'm older than I thought. That's a possibility. So anyway, I had gone to beauty school, and so I had owned a couple of nail salons in the Philadelphia and New Jersey area while I was putting my band together, my original band together. And that was keeping me going. And I really liked doing that. I thought that that was a really fun thing to do. So when Tom and I came off the road and I realized that I was never going to be Madonna, that was a sad day. At the same time, I was really hearing my biological clock tick, and I thought I wanted to have kids. And so I decided that I was going to get back into the nail industry, and Tom was going to go back to school. So I don't know how old we were. I think we were in our late 20s at that time. And I opened a nail salon in the Madison, Wisconsin area. And the reason I did that is because Tom wanted to go to school in Wisconsin. And the reason that he wanted to go to school in Wisconsin was because every summer, our band would play all the nice warm resort places in the winter. And then in the summer, we would play this resort up in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, called Chula Vista Resort. And it was really fun. And we would play up there from like May until almost October before we'd go back on the road. And then we do a month in Atlantic City, and we do a month in Las Vegas, and we do a month in the Caribbean, and we do a month in Canada. So what we learned was wherever you work the most in the year is where you pay your state taxes. And so we were paying our state taxes to Wisconsin. And then when Tom decided he wanted to go back to school, because we were considered residents of Wisconsin, because that's where we paid our state taxes, he could go to the University of Wisconsin for residence rates. So I told my mom and dad that I was going to move to Wisconsin. And my mom said to me, "Don't you want to stay in the United States?" And that's where we moved. And I opened my nail salon, and Tom went on to school. He got a degree in English at the University of Wisconsin, and then he went on to Marquette, go to law school. So then Tom was working as a lawyer, and I found stamping. I was invited to a Stampin' Up! Party, which for those of you who have gone to a Stampin' Up! Party, you guys know Stampin' Up! Is the gateway drug. That is how you learn that you need to have everything. And so I became a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator ultimately and started doing parties and stuff. And that was really fun too. And I was doing that on the weekends while I had my nail salons. And I had my two girls, and then at some point, Stampin' Up! Changed their career plan, and it no longer worked for me. And that's when I thought, I wonder if I drew some stamps, if anybody would like them. And that was a long time ago. That was because Gina K Designs, I think we started Gina K Designs maybe back in 2006. And so that was a long time ago. Gosh, that is 14 years already. That's a really long time. And this is where I landed. So it took me a long time to find my thing. You know, some people are very lucky. They turn 18, they go to college, and they find exactly what they want to do, and they do it. And they do it their whole lives, and they love it. But took me a lot of different careers to find exactly what I loved. All right, so what do you guys think? Now I've got all the green on there, and I've got all of the purple on there. So now I'm going to add a little shading. So I'm going to use the Violet Prismacolor pencil, and I'm going to add a little bit of shading. So I'm just going to color close down near the bottom, kind of just scratch a few little lines in there. like that. Can you guys see how that just that little bit made a bit of a difference with the depth? And I'm just doing that from where it would appear that the petals would be attached to the flower. Just like that. Okay. It's weird. I just heard an ambulance go by. It always makes me nervous because there's nothing going on. All right. So that is my topic for tonight. Now what my next career will be, honestly, I don't know. I think that I'm the type of person that, as much as I think I would like to retire, I don't think I would ever want to retire, to tell you the truth. I like to be busy and I like to have something to do, and I love being creative. So hopefully this will be it. I'll just keep doing this until you guys don't want to hear from me anymore. And I hope that's not too soon. So I'm going to take a look at your questions here, but you can see as I'm adding that darker purple, you're getting a lot of that shading. Yes, it did take me a while, and you're right. You know, life is, I know it's so cliche to say it, but life is a journey, and it really is. It's not about like the destination. It's really about the ride. That's what's fun. It's about like, what's next? Where am I going next? What am I going to try next? So I don't think I really found what I wanted to do until I was in my late 30s. So, okay. So there, now I've added a little bit of that dark shading in there. Now here is where, and I have to give a shout out to Kathy Rakusin. I had done this one time and I had showed her, and she said, you know what you really need to do? You need to add some white on the petals. And I thought about that and I thought, white on the petals? I don't know that I'm good enough to add white on the petals. And you can see I'm holding a white pencil. But I was playing with it a little bit, and actually it makes a huge difference. So I want to give a shout out to Kathy. Kathy Rakusin is the one who does the 30-day coloring challenge. And if you don't know what that is, on Instagram, if you don't have Instagram, they also have a Facebook page. And Kathy encourages you to color for just 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day. And she does it for a whole month, and then you share what you colored. So I could share this right here, just like where I stopped. And I could say, you know, here's what I did. And then I would add the hashtag, the Daily Marker 30 Day. The Daily Marker is Kathy's blog. But Kathy's doing something really fun with my other friend, Lydia Fiedler. They're doing something called Color and Connect. And so I have here, if you follow Kathy Rack, that's my friend Kathy, or Lydia Fiedler's handle on Instagram is Understand Blue. You might also follow their blogs or follow them on Facebook. They have Facebook pages. They're doing something called Color and Connect on Tuesday evenings at 4 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Central time. So you sign up ahead of time and just go to one of their Instagrams or onto their Facebook pages and find them, and they always link all over the place where you can sign up, and it's a private chat. So you get together with a bunch of other people who like to color, and they do it like a Zoom meeting, so it's private. You use your laptop and you connect, and you see all the little squares with all of the people that have joined. Everybody's face is in a square. It's like, looks like the Brady Bunch, you know. And they just talk, and they talk about, you know, just life and different things. And Kathy and Lydia are both so brilliant. They color so brilliantly. So there's so much that they will teach you. And this little technique, Kathy taught me. So I'm going to give it a try here. I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the tips of the flowers. And, ooh, I have the wrong screen. Everybody's like, see what you're doing. Here we go. There we go. So I'm adding just a little bit of white just to the tips of the flowers. And when this is done, it makes the whole flower glow. It really does. I think it's just brilliant. And I didn't think I could do it, but you can see that I'm not working very hard to do that. I'm just very lightly adding. And what I love about the way Kathy and Lydia teach coloring is they both kind of break the rules a little bit. So I know that there's lots of rules out there. They both kind of break the rules, which I really like. And they don't come at you from like a fine art, like you don't have to have a fine art degree to understand what they're talking about. They just tell you little tips and tricks, and it's brilliant. And it's helped me a lot just watching them. So yeah, so you can see what's happening here now, right? Isn't that cool? And that is not hard to do. So I'm going to keep going. And then I think it really makes a difference when you add it into the second layer in here, because it really makes the definition stand out. I guess definition is standing out, but you guys know what I mean. I'm talking from my, you know how sometimes you're talking and you're just saying words? You don't even know what you're saying anymore. That's sometimes how I feel after a long day of packing and shipping orders. I'm talking, I hear words coming out. I don't even know what they mean anymore, but I'm just hoping somebody out there is interpreting. Okay, so let's see how you guys are all doing. Yes, it's a shadow effect. It does make a difference, right? So again, I'm going to just add a little bit up here, and that just really defines these petals. So this may be, you know, a little more than what I usually do, because my other cards are just so clean and simple, and like 2 minutes it's done. But sometimes you really just need to take a break and you need to slow down. And these kinds of cards are just therapeutic for me. So look at that. I was pretty excited about being able to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do some shading up here. And I hope you guys don't mind watching all these little details. But I'm actually just taking, you know, like little strokes. I'm just adding a little bit of that darker color. So again, these techniques like this, you do not have to be an artist to do this, because I'm not an artist, but I am a crafter and I like to have fun. Okay, honestly, earlier, maybe this will make you laugh, but it's really true. I was testing the overhead shot just at about 6:30. I was testing it and I was like, what is that? What is that blocking my screen? And I'm looking and I'm looking. I'm like, oh my God, that's my boobs. So I'm sorry if they get in the way. Oh my goodness. I'm laughing here all by myself in my stamp room. I hope you guys are laughing with me. Okay, so you can see how that darkness makes a difference. And now we'll go in and we'll add that little bit of white, and it will really make a difference. But honestly, isn't that cool how it looks on black cardstock? I think that's really what makes this beautiful, is the fact that it's on black cardstock. All right, so we'll add just a little bit of white. And if you don't have white, you might just have a lighter pencil, like a real soft gray or a real soft blue. It doesn't necessarily have to be white. You'd be surprised. Just pick something that's really light. And I guess if you're really good, you could leave the white of the ink showing and only color up to it. But honestly, I'm not that good. I just like to lay down that thick layer of purple first so that I can really see where I'm coloring. and then add that little bit of white on top. And you see right there, like that made a huge difference, right? So you guys got to check out their Connect Color and Connect. That is really fun. And the thing is that it's small groups. So there's like, I don't know, like if there's 20 people, you can ask questions. You know, you can say, hey, look at what I did. What did I do wrong here? Or what could I do to make this pop out? And you'll get an answer like, add a little white on the tips and your life will change. So let me check out your comments so far. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if the leaves would look good like this too. I think they definitely would. I am going to add something to the leaves, so we'll try it. So I'm gonna put some more dark in this one, and you can see all of a sudden now, right? It was looking really good, and you were really happy with it when it looked like this, but all of a sudden now that looks super flat, right? Yeah, polychromos will work great with this. You can use polychromos. Polychromos are kind of a similar style pencil. I think they're like, I don't think that they're made with wax. I think maybe they have like an oil base instead of a wax base. Again, like not being a real artist, I just like, ooh, I like, that's a pretty color. Let me see what it looks like if I color with it. The polychromos are really, really nice pencils. And that's a technique that you can do with this too. Another brand that a lot of people like, especially if they're really, really into art, is the Caran d'Ache pencils. They're very expensive. I went to an art store and I picked up like 3 or 4 of them. And they were beautiful pencils. But to be 100% honest with you, I'm not talented enough to notice the difference. But everybody that I ask that is talented enough says they are the best pencils, that they really like that brand, Caran d'Ache. I think it's a European brand. But I'm happy with my good old Prismacolor pencils I have had for absolutely ever. I started with a big set, and then I just, you know, as I use up a pencil, because I tend to use the same colors over and over again, I just buy the single pencils now. So there, now that looks like it's got some depth, and then we'll go in and we'll add that little bit of white on the edges. Kathy, I don't know if you're watching, but I could kiss you right on the lips for telling me this. Just that tiny little bit. And I'm not pushing real hard. I'm just lightly letting the color come off of the pencil. Listen to me trying to teach colored pencils, but you get it, right? Just very lightly. Makes a huge difference. And I think that, you know, I have other videos with the black magic technique, and I also have a video with craft magic where I did this same technique with craft cardstock, and that looks really pretty too. But I don't get into this kind of detail on those videos, because back when I made those videos, I didn't even know that this kind of stuff, these kind of techniques existed. So I've been learning a lot and practicing a little bit here. Okay, so now, doesn't that give them so much more depth? It almost looks like cloisonne, like the beautiful cloisonne furniture that you see. I think that's what it's called. That might be the wrong word, but I have something that my mother passed down to me. It's this beautiful desk, and I think my mom and dad bought it in Japan, and it's got florals on there that look like this, and it's all black lacquer. So the name of this stamp set is called A Big Hello. This is the stamp set, and it's got a lot of solid images in it, and it comes in the stamp kit called A Big Hello. Okay, so boy, this is like one of those nights where I'm not doing 5 million cards. I'm just doing one. I'm liking it. So now I'm going to switch to moss green, and I'm going to add, let me sharpen that. Okay, so I'm just going to add some streaky little lines here, just coming out of like the center of the leaf. So you can see that little bit of depth there. And then I always take pictures of my cards and I post them on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can find me. My handle is at Gina K Designs. And then I also post them in our Facebook group and on our Facebook page. I really wish YouTube allowed us to post pictures right under the video. There is a community tab on my channel and I could post it there as well. But if you guys are on Facebook, we do have a really group. It's called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends, and we share all of our Gina K Designs projects. And I'd love to see your version of this technique, so you can certainly share it there in our group. So I'm turning the pencil a little bit, like when it starts to wear down on one side, it seems like it gets sharper on the other side. So you can see how the leaves look a little bit different now with that little bit of streaky, just little pencil lines, really tiny pencil lines. Yes, this stamp set is available on our website, actually part of the kit, so you can find it. It's still hanging out in the What's New category. It's called a Big Hello Kit. And really, a lot of people will say, well, I don't want the whole kit. I just want that stamp set. But when the stamp set and the die set go on sale by themselves, the whole kit is not that much more than just the stamp and die set will be when it goes in by itself. So I highly recommend it because you get 3 stamp sets, you get 2 die sets, and the other stamp set I love, my daughter Alicia drew it. It's called Happy Herbs, and it's cute little potted herbs. It's really fun. And then that has a die set with it too. And then you get another stamp set that you can use. Plus you get a stencil and you get cardstock. So if you're new to Gina K Designs, you can also try the cardstock. And the whole kit, I believe, is $59.95, which is, you know, if you buy just a large stamp set and a die set, it's close to, you know, $42. So it's a good deal. All right, so you can see I'm just adding a little bit of darkness at the bottoms of these stems, and then I'm adding a little line in here. There really isn't a line. I'm just adding that little line. I think I need to sharpen my pencil. So there's different kinds of leaves in here. There's some just plain ones, and then there's some more detailed ones down here. But I'm making them just a little detailed by adding those lines. Okay, so should I try the white? Do you think I should try a little bit of white on the ends of the leaves? The kit's out of stock already? Oh no. Well, we're definitely getting more because once the kit goes out of stock, I'll see if we have any more. We'll do a count and we'll see if we can put any more back in stock. We'll check, because we usually have a little bit of a reserve. Plus, we usually have some upstairs in our retail store. And since that is not open right now, we might be able to bring those back down. So just click the notify me button. And if more go in stock, you'll get a little notification. Okay. So I'm just adding a little bit of white just onto the tips of the leaves. I think that does make a difference. Just to kind of brighten them. I think it really makes it stand out against the black cardstock more too. Oh, and then one little trick, I colored white outside of the lines on one thing that I was playing with. So I just took a black pencil and I just colored over it so you can't see the mistake anymore. So a black pencil is always a good one to have too, especially when you're doing this technique. So you see how I kind of smudged there. I can go back over that with a black pencil and just refine that a little bit. All right, so this is looking pretty good. Another stamp set that this would look great with is, well, any of the scenic sets that Teresa Momber has. She's got lots of silhouette type images in those. Also, a little mini set we have called With Love and Prayers. That would work really well. And for those of you that are on the waiting list, we do have Wild Blossoms coming back. So that would be another one that it would look really great with. All right, so a little bit more of this, and then we're going to turn this into a card. I'm just checking out your comments here. Yeah, I'm sure the polychromos look beautiful with this as well. I bought a few of those and I have them somewhere, but you know how like when you start to kind of figure out how to use something and then you try something new, it just feels different. And sometimes you don't feel like you have enough time to learn how to use it. So you just put it aside and you keep thinking, I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that for sure. Okay. So I think I added white just about everywhere I want it. I think I need to add a little bit of something here. Like that. Okay. So other great color combinations for this, I want to show you a couple that really, really work nicely, is if you want aqua flowers, if you use light aqua for your light color, and then you use aquamarine for your dark color, these work beautifully. And again, you start with the Gina K Designs pigment ink, the white ink, and you stamp that whole solid image down first. Let me just get rid of this person. I don't know what this person is doing. And we'll delete that comment. So sorry if you see some weird comments coming through. It's hard for me to moderate those comments at the same time. What I understand is that I can assign somebody to do that. And I think I'm going to assign Tom that job. He doesn't know it yet, but since he usually watches anyway in case the dogs bark, so he can come up and quiet them. So, oh, thank you, Deborah, for blocking him. I appreciate that. So that's a great combination. For pinks, I love this combination. This pencil is called Pink. And this one is called Process Red, but it's really pink. It's really like a magenta pink. And those colors look really good as well. So watercolor pencils. You can try watercolor pencils with this. You know, watercolor pencils will even work with Gamsol, but it's kind of a waste of Gamsol because water does the same thing as Gamsol with a watercolor pencil. I would give it a try. I mean, it's certainly worth trying, you know, what you already have before you buy something new. But I want to show you this. Let me go onto the front camera here. So these are all the Prismacolor pencils I have, plus the ones that I showed you that were right here. So this is my entire stash right here of Prismacolor pencils. That's it. I have the full set, and I took that and put that in my RV. Tom and I have this little tiny RV that we go on vacation and we camp in. And I left my big set of pencils in there with my blue flappy thing that you guys have seen me use. And then the lockdown came. And so I chose these colors because these are the colors that I use. And I am happy with these. So if you just want to pick a bunch of single colors that you really like, I think it's going to be totally fine. Yeah, if anybody sees any weird people in there, you can certainly block them. Please don't block nice people, but if you see somebody come in and spam. Another great color to use if you don't have the white is this. This is French Gray, 10%. It's super light gray. And also even like this blue, this is sky blue, would work really well as well. So, okay, let's go back to the overhead and we're going to complete this card. So I'm going to mount this onto a piece of white cardstock. So I do have a piece cut, and this piece of cardstock measures 3.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So I made this one 3 5/8 of an inch by 4 7/8 of an inch. And I'm going to layer those together with some of the Gina K Designs adhesive dot runner tape. Okay, and we'll get that layered together. I really got to lean over this every once in a while. a friend will text during my live and I see it come up on my phone and I think, oh, is that coming up on the screen? But I don't think it is. So if you guys see anybody say, wow, that card's really ugly, just ignore that. Okay, and then I have a couple different card base colors here I wanted to look at because I knew I was going to do something with flowers. So this is jelly bean green. I really like that. That is a nice color with it. I feel like these colors lend themselves to jelly bean green, but I wanted to just see it up against apple mint. I think that one is too apple mini. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it doesn't have enough olive in it, enough yellow in it. So I think this one, and of course another color here, I just happen to have a purple card base laying here. This is Wild Lilac. And these pencil colors go really nicely with the Wild Lilac. That's really beautiful. Oh gosh, now I'm torn. Do I go with the purple or do I go with the green? You know, part of me says go with the purple because it matches so well. But the other part of me says go with the green because it makes the purple stand out. It doesn't take away from the purple. It's not all, I don't know. Maybe the purple, maybe you guys are right. The purple looks really good. Well, either one looks good, right? So if I did this one on purple, all right, I'm going to go with the purple. So I'll put it on the Wild Lilac because those colors really work. They really match well. So now you know what colors match with Wild Lilac. And I'll put the colors that I use on this card, the Prismacolor pencil colors that I use to color this. I'll put it in the description over on YouTube. Okay. So there we go. So now I need a greeting, and I had a little bit of fun cutting out some greetings the other night when I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I cut out, this is our hello die. I cut that out, and I think that would look really good on there. And then I also went through the box of, you guys know that I have the box of bits and pieces that I keep all the little words that I've cut and all the little bits and pieces of things that I've been working on, and leaves and flowers and all kinds of things. So I have a whole box. Actually, I have three. I have three boxes like this, and I found this when I had first started with the big hello kit. I had made this little half flag. So I'll show you how I made it, and then I'll just use that one. But let me put this aside. So all I did was I took a piece of cardstock, and this piece of cardstock measures 1/2 inch by 2 1/4 inches. And so, let me see, I just put it here, and I think I'll stamp this with a block, and I'll be really brave. So this is the I've Been Missing You greeting. Now this hello, you could stamp this hello and emboss it. This is a completely different hello than our hello die. They don't match. And people have been asking me to make this one into a die, and I might do that. But we do have a big hello die already. Okay. And I know a lot of our things are out of stock right now, and I feel really bad about that. I am really, really hoping that our suppliers can get product to us quickly. But I also know that we're not getting products out quickly, so I don't fault anybody for not getting these out quickly. All right, so I'm going to ink this up with some black ink. I'm going to see if I can stamp this straight. Let me move it over here because the camera's in the way. So I'll stamp it right there. Okay. Straight enough. And then I just took some scissors and I just cut in toward the center with one side and in toward the center the other side. Now these scissors, these are the Tim Holtz paper snips. I really like these. I'll show you another pair of scissors that I really love. These are the Brutus Monroe scissors. I like these too. These are great for cutting. They're very, very sharp. Tim Holtz products are always amazing, and I love these, and both of these are always right by my side. So All right, so I'm going to just put that aside because I don't know if it's 100% dry and I don't want to risk it. Okay, so now I need to find a place to put this where it doesn't get in the way. So I think I'm going to put it, let's see, like right there. And then I will glue this on top and I will let it overlap a little bit like that. What do you think? I think I'll do that. Okay, so let's get this laid down first with a little bit of adhesive. And then I'll bring it right off from the edge so that, let me see how that looks before I press it down. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. We'll go there. And then this will just go across the top and off the card. I guess I could bring this down a little bit. Did you see that I did not press down very hard on that? Because I wasn't 100% convinced. So let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I can. Okay. It'll go down just a little bit more. Get out of the way of the hello a little bit. Oh, these decisions. And then this can come down a little bit more onto the black like that. Okay. So I think I will do that. Okay, a lot of you are glad I did the purple, and now I'm really glad I did the purple. So if you ever get these stringy things along the edges of your die cut pieces, it happens to everybody. It's not really a bang. I take a blending stump sometimes and I just rub the blending stump on the side. I don't know why that seems to get a lot of those pieces off, and I can get into really tiny spots. So see, another great reason to use blending stumps. All right, let me move the Misty out of the way so we can see this better. We don't get glue on it. Now I'm going to use the Connect glue. And this has been sitting upside down for a little while now. So let's see. And then I'm just going to put little dots of Connect glue. Now sometimes I use Jennifer McGuire's method where I cut out several die cuts and then I pile them all up on top of each other to make them thick. And that's it. That looks really good, but you don't always have to do that. If you only have time to cut one, just cut one. The other thing that I like about the Connect glue for adhering die cut pieces like this is you can get tiny little dots of glue. And you also, you know, as you're gluing, if the glue oozes out from underneath, it's going to dry clear. It's not going to dry white. So let's get some of that on this. It is very sticky glue too. It will really hold down everything. Embellishments, sequins, rhinestones, even little wood pieces. And then I was talking to one of the ladies that I work with, and she and her friend, another friend of mine, they go along Lake Michigan and they collect sea glass. And she uses them and makes these beautiful pieces of art. And she told me that she has used Connect glue to glue the pieces of sea glass onto, you know, a background, and then it's upright like a piece of art and it holds even the sea glass on. So it's a good sticky glue. All right, now let's only lay this down once, okay? Okay. So we'll put it right about here. Oh, there we go. What do you think? Should I go down a little bit further? Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll put that into place. There we go. All right. Whew. That was nerve-wracking. So there is my finished card, complete with the Black Magic technique and die cut piece and a little flag. Well, I hope you guys like that. Oh my goodness, 1 minute left. 1 minute. So I'll just put this over here so you guys can look at it. And so let me find my little quote for the end of the night. First of all, before I do that, I do want to let you know that I am not going to be here on Friday night. I know we've done the last 4 Fridays together as a PJ party, and it's been so much fun. But this Friday night, Tom and I are going to be messing around in here with some lighting to get the lighting better for the overhead shot. And we don't want to take too much time during the week because we want to ship as many of your orders out as possible. So I am going to take Friday night off to just play in my craft room and try to get the lighting a little bit better. And then I'll be back again next week for all 3 nights, and we'll be right back on track. So I'm sorry about that, but I did want to let you know that ahead of time. I know, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Okay, so we talked about keep going tonight. So here's my final thought, and I will add this over onto my Facebook page. So keep going, and don't worry about your speed. If you're trying, you're making progress, and even if it doesn't seem like it, forward is forward, no matter how slow. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I absolutely loved every minute of crafting with you. I will see you again next week, starting on Monday with Merry Monday, then Wednesday, Whimsy, and Flashback Friday, all next week. You guys have a great rest of your week. I will be around on Facebook and on Instagram, and I love you all so much. I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.